How you doing, sir? How you doing, Marianne?
How are you?
Good. Now I got too much light. I got lighting problems around here.
It's that time of day.
Even, huh?
It's that time of day.
Oh goodness, like mine is just crazy. Harold, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Good, man. Good. I see a static face. You're showing up or you're hiding?
No, dude, man, listen. I have to reconfigure all of my electronics and my security.
All
So, and
right.
plus, I've got my quarantine look happening, so it's totally unprofessional. That
Oh, trust me, I'm like, huh?
static picture is as professional as it's going to get it right about now, buddy.
And the quarantine look, I got my daughter calling me out on all my videos. She's like, Dad, you look so rough. Like you look like rougher than rough.
Nice. The kids always tell it to you straight, man.
Oh,
Gotta
they'll
love
get
it.
it to you straight, just like it is, you know. So I know a couple of people, always log on a little bit late, but I know you, Harold, and I know Marianne. You guys haven't introduced each other. So I guess, Harold, you can introduce yourself to Marianne, and Marianne, you can introduce yourself to Harold.
Well, you know what? We're still in the world of chivalry. So, Marianne, ladies always are first.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice. I love that, Harold. So, my name is Marianne Croce, and I am a speaker and a coach, and I coach and speak on leadership for small business owners that are in the trades. I help them, I guide them, more like a GPS than a roadmap, through my system, helping them to stop doing it all and understanding that they can actually have a business and a life and not deal with burnout. So I focus on people that are either in the process of needing a team, they want to start building a team. They either have a team and they're looking for more accountability in that team, or they're at the stage where they want to develop leaders on their team. So, when they're ready to, stop doing it all, I, tell them, give me a call.
Nice. Yeah, that's interesting. So apologies. I just want to make sure I understand your client base, so to speak. So you're focused on contractors in the sense of like independent contractors or contracting companies in
Right.
construction.
It'd be small business owners that would be considered in the trade. Contractors, the people that, would be considered their subs. There's people that have like electrical or, painting, all of that. Also automotive. I grew up in a family of contractors, so I know that world very, very well. And I have owned an automotive repair shop in Norwalk for over 20 years. So
Oh,
it's my
wow.
world. Those are my tribe. Those people are my tribe.
No, that's awesome. No, I just actively, whenever I connect with people and look, Andy and I, we've had this conversation before, always trying to think top of mind of others where and when you come into contact and interaction. And I have a good client base of contractors. And there are people who I feel probably could benefit from having a team instead of trying to be that one man do it all type shop operation.
Right.
All right.
Very good.
Well,
So Harold, yeah, go on.
thank you,
Introduce
sir.
yourself. Now you have two more in the audience for you.
All right. So my company, my firm, Chestnut Street Consulting, is an independent consulting firm. Basically, what we do is in terms of providing a service and benefit to business owners and entrepreneurs and I'd like to say SMEs or small, medium-sized enterprises. Really started out with a focus on trying to assist those parts of the business world or arena, people who always were underrepresented or also lacked access to be it capital or opportunities, et cetera. And so my thing was kind of helping these minorities and women-owned firms apply for and go for government certifications. And then in addition to that, once it became clear and apparent that, okay, it's great, people had government certifications, but they just weren't clear on how to actually develop business. So then the next lateral move was, well, help with business development. And then once people said, yeah, we got business opportunities, that's great, we've got contracts, but need money. And so then I said, well, let's see about providing access to capital. So that all became very clear in terms of the move of helping the business owners and entrepreneurs. And then it kind of grew to where now I have people and firms actually reaching out to me with respect to assistance more on the finance side. So I've actually did and engaged in my first buy-side M&A contract opportunity or engagement, so to speak, with a federal prime IT consulting firm based outside of Connecticut. You know, they're based in West Virginia area. So I've been helping them over the past year and change, and which actually has led to, well, fingers crossed, another potential opportunity with a Virginia-based small IT consulting prime or federal prime contracting company. So from soup to nuts, I mean, I work with companies pre-revenue, true startups, on up to the companies who are doing upwards of the $75-80 million a year annual revenues space.
Very good. And speaking of IT, we got Manny and Lindsay. So we'll have Lindsay go first. I'm following your guidelines, Harold. Lindsay, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
Good.
Who are you talking to? I have my toddler at home, so.
No worries. No worries. I feel like I've met you before, Lindsay. Have you come to one of our live meetups before?
I have not. I have attempted to try to come, but I live up in Richfield now, so it's a bit of a hike to get down to the Stamford area, but I was excited because this was online tonight, so I was like, perfect. I can, you know, try to attend tonight without having to get a babysitter and all those type of things. I'm sorry, hold on a second.
That's fine. She's going to do her pitch too.
Yeah, great. So, I mean, My name is Charlotte. Yes, this is Charlotte.
Don't worry about it. We're all okay.
Yeah, so I work from home currently. I work for an IT research firm called EPAM. It's about 40,000 employees worldwide. They are headquartered out of Pennsylvania, and you know, essentially I do their employer branding and TA marketing. So I head it up globally and things like that. So anyway, I work from home, always looking to network, always looking to meet people. And, you know, my dream is one day to have, you know, my own business of some kind on the side. So, you know, I always try to keep an eye open to networking with other entrepreneurs and things like that. So
that's good. Well, you're in the right place.
Yeah, I think so. So anyway, excited to be here. You know, is there anything else I should add to the intro? Or is that
the intro? We're gonna go a second round just to let you know everybody talk a little bit more. But
cool.
You know, Harold and Mariette, if you have any questions for Lindsay, please just shoot off. It's very free flowing in the first like 20-30 minutes. Just want to get to know each other better, and also want to hear from everybody what they've been doing that's been working, which is a major asset when we're getting together. Really want to hear from everybody, you know, their success stories, things that they're doing that's actually working. We want to be able to benefit from everybody today.
Cool, great. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Manny, how you doing, sir?
Busy.
Busy, good. So do a quick introduction for those who've never met you before.
My name is Manny Reeser. I own Truth to IT. I'm a small little IT firm, I guess you can call it. I do kind of a little bit of everything. I'm a jack of a lot. I've been doing this on my own pretty much for 4 or 5 years, and I have a bunch of other endeavors that I'm involved in too. But yeah, I'm pretty diverse when it comes to IT.
Very good.
I've honestly been doing IT since 1999, I guess. So I've been around the field for a long time. So I've seen a lot, work for a lot of different places, anywhere from financial to insurance to, God, NGOs, non-for-profits, everything. So I've seen a little bit of everything, which is, it actually bodes well for me. So I'm involved with a lot of different people. So it works really well. And I do other things, so I won't get into that stuff.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I want to, have everybody kind of go around again, Marianne. Just clarify the types of leads and referrals, that you're looking for. It's always good to be, as clear as possible. But then also, want to share with the group some of the things you've been doing, in the past few weeks that has been working, that you would recommend everybody, consider or try.
Did you say you wanted me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
So my ideal client to work with is someone who is in the trades. They're business owner in the trades, construction, what you would consider as even some of the subcontractors that have their own businesses, automotive, any of those types of people. I find that they're the ones that are just wearing so many hats once they decided to open up their business, that they're, really struggling with trying to do it all and have a life. So they're, what a lot of them went into business because they thought that, they were going to be able to have a little bit of freedom. And what they find is that their business is controlling them instead of them controlling their business. So that's basically the people that I am here to serve. What I find that's been working, especially now, what's going on, a lot of people are cutting back on marketing efforts, or they're looking for ways to cut their budget. And that's good. One of the first things I always say to people is you have to know your numbers. It's really difficult to make decisions if you don't have any data that you're basing those on. So knowing your financials is huge. But I find that in difficult times, there's always something that we're able to give or share. So a suggestion for, say, someone who's in the trades, you probably know the top 3 to 5 questions, frequently asked questions that your customers would ask you. If you've been doing it, you kind of can rattle them off in your space what they are. So create a little, list of those questions and put it up there. Put it up there on your website, or create something that they can download. Give something away that differentiates you from everyone else. And that way your clients, your customers will see that, and it's like, wow, they really understand me. That's just what I was thinking, or that's just what I wanted to ask. So in some way, be able to share.
Okay, that's good. I like it. I like it very much. Harold, in terms of like marketing or business management right now, what have you been doing that's been working?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I would say that not so much that there was an intention behind this. It kind of was a lateral movement where myself and a couple of colleagues had actually started a new venture where we were coming together to actually help business owners and businesses apply for the SBA loans that are being offered right now, right? Which then kind of opens up the opportunity where a lot of these companies or entities weren't ones where I had relationships with previously. But now, because of the fact that you've now opened the door towards moving and becoming, as you put, Andy, trusted advisor status, right? Because think about it, you have access to all of these people's financials, personal and confidential information, and you're helping them apply for business, which now leads to conversations that are potentially could be a bit more lucrative from the perspective of helping them address specific business needs or issues. Like, for example, business development. Many of these companies, they're smaller business owners, and now considering the pandemic, people are trying to figure out where to go and how to develop revenue opportunities. And so one of the things that Andy, I always like to speak about is with respect to potentially government opportunities, federal and or state municipal, right? Which kind of helps to lead to a more specific idea of what your revenues are going to look like if you have a contract in place. And so that's kind of one of the things that has been and led to more developed conversations.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. The one person who's able to pay is the government. That's one thing for sure.
Exactly, right? Hey, man, what the heck? What's $2 trillion between friends, right?
So, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Lindsay and Manny, what have you been doing lately that's been working?
So I guess my experience is through a little bit different lens, but we've been adjusting a lot of our communications around crisis communications for candidates and experiences like that. There's a vendor I've been partnering with that I would mention. They put together an entire webinar, how-to templates, basically pivoted themselves to be front and center in terms of the employer branding space, which I thought, I'm happy to share their example, was a really great way, kind of, Marianne, how you were talking about adding the free value. They literally had stuff coming out the second or third week of March when things were just happening. And I really, for me, on the corporate side, when I look at that as a vendor I'm partnering with, I'm like, they're just going to stay. I always was a huge fan, but they just kind of really stood out from the pack, I thought, by doing all those initiatives. And so, I'm hoping, right now my firm doesn't have, budget in place for very many things right now. We're kind of in a layoff phase, but, I think that, when things come back around, that's stuff that's going to stick with me, in terms of a company and small business, that it's a woman-owned company, it's a smaller company, but, really having that value add around, for people in the employer brand space, we have never come across kind of a scenario like this. And we're often a shop inside a company of one or two or maybe three people who are focused on this. So in terms of bouncing off ideas, you can work with the other marketing department and stuff, but they're not targeted at job seekers who are uniquely impacted in this scenario, right? We're still recruiting, even though we're laying off. So how do we balance those conversations? So anyway, I would say that's, kind of a component I would share is, something I've seen and been a change in terms of, I've been reading up as much as I can and seeing what everyone else is doing because it's uncharted territory.
It is. It definitely is. And what about you, Manny? Lindsay?
Yep.
What about you, Manny?
I haven't really been doing anything different.
All right.
I haven't, honestly, because of what I do and because I'm willing to do things that normal IT people wouldn't do. I've kind of stayed busy because of that fact, because people know, right off the bat, most small IT places won't go to people's houses. I go to people's houses. So a lot of people called me for Wi-Fi, and I also do security cameras and stuff like that. So I have a couple of gigs lined up for that, which that's been really important because everybody's worried about a lot of different things. So because I'm diverse, I've somewhat stayed busy. I've kind of tried to stay out of certain situations just because of fear of certain things. But honestly, and the other thing I still got to talk to you about, Andy.
Right, absolutely.
I've been kind of fortunate, truthfully.
I have a question, Manny.
Mm-hmm.
So you do the IT and you were talking about security and everything. So in this climate right now that we're in, are people more reluctant with that, social distancing to have people come into their home?
So because I have a lot of formed relationships with people, I really haven't had a problem, and I've really put it to people where I know a lot of the people that I've done stuff for, or I have relationships with other people that I am doing stuff for, the people that know me. So how I've set it up, I said either you could leave the house or I can do what I have to do. It's totally up to you, and we just stay apart. And listen, I'm pretty gung ho, and I don't really fear a lot of things, but even this has put me in kind of a place of where you think about it now. And going to people's houses, and it's Lower Fairfield County, I do a lot of stuff. So especially with IT stuff, I do some stuff in New Haven County, but mostly my stuff is Fairfield County into New York.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know. People have been very open-minded, and again, I'm sure it has to do with relationships already established. So I've done I've gone to like a couple houses where I had to put Wi-Fi systems in, and some of them had pre-existing and some had nothing in the house, and so I told them point blank, how quick and even getting equipment was hard. But I went with other stuff that I normally don't go with, but it came on good recommendations and that I was able to get in a reasonable amount of time because people were, this hit everybody off guard. So I told them, I said, it comes very highly recommended. I'll stay here until it works properly. And I did that with a couple of them. But I haven't had any problems with people being scared about that. I go in their house, wash my hands, do whatever, make them, whatever makes them comfortable. I have no problem, and I have gloves and everything in my car and whatever that stuff is, the hand sanitizer. So, and I do a bunch of restaurant stuff. People stay busy, Bozzies. I do all their stuff.
Yeah.
So I've done Wi-Fi so cars can pull up and they can give them credit cards and take credit cards in the parking lot so that they can run food out and stuff like that. So because I'm diverse, I don't just do corporate, and I have a lot of mom and pop stuff. To make their life easier. Either, there's even stuff I won't get paid till after all this is over, but that's the relationship I have with a lot of people.
Mhm.
So, but that's what you have to do sometimes, and a lot of people don't have that. They're just strictly complete cutthroat business minded, so you can't be like that with some things. And I have corporate people, so it's a different aspect. So, and that's me. Like I said, I've been fortunate, not super busy, but enough. I'm not worrying about where my next meal is coming from. So that's it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love it. When you're a trusted advisor, you'll get all sorts of projects, all sorts of requests, and that's the difference when you're a trusted advisor versus a service provider. When you're a service provider, you come in, you get paid for what you did, and thanks a lot.
Yeah, and that's true. And a lot of people, people have called me in for stuff that I said, I don't do it, but I can basically tell you if it's right or wrong.
Right.
And I go in and listen, nah, let's find somebody else. And they trust me to basically, it's basically like you're a CIO, but you're not a CIO, when it comes to their infrastructure or anything that they have going on. And that's the relationship that I have. And like Andy knows, I'm about to do this whole construction process that I know a lot of people, but I'm also very regimented about certain things when I do things. So I'm about to be the owner's rep for his whole project that he has no time for. So I'll go to him like once a week, and it'll be a learning experience for me. And I know a ton of people in trades. I grew up around them. I grew up around a lot of Italians and Portuguese. So I've called them all that I know. And so I just keep it with friends. And, nobody, when you trust it, you trust it. Because I do a lot of stuff for all these people. And Handy, you need a background, man. I can't look at that white background anymore.
Yeah, I'll change it next time.
Change it now. You can do it on the fly.
Let me see here. Can you change it right now? Can you actually, is it on the bottom?
You could probably go into, you have to do
probably
video
have to
and
go
then
back
change
on.
virtual background.
What do you say?
Change virtual background. Go to your video and it says change virtual background.
Yeah, you may not have any pre-existing, but if you Google it, you can Zoom backgrounds that come right up.
They normally have standard. There's like a nice ocean one there.
My laptop didn't have that. Only my phone had the standard one.
Oh, there you go. That's much better.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. That's even better.
All right. I'm in business now.
There you go.
All right, let me see here. I appreciate the advice. It makes me feel better now. I feel like,
man, you look at that and it's like, wow, man, that'd be lovely. I've been there a few times.
Boy. So I wanted to get right into it. Obviously, this month, my pivot has been leadership is, in my mind, it's influence. It's the ability to,
Mhm.
to help people better their circumstances. And like Lindsay was saying, when you have crisis like this, some people step up. It's not necessarily that they know everything, it's not necessarily that they know everything, but at least they're stepping up with the extra effort and helping further everybody's situation. So just stepping up and sharing the information that they believe is crucial is just putting yourself in a position of leadership. And it's separating yourself from other people in your field that are just not doing it. I look on Facebook, it's so funny. Some people have gone into total panic. Like you look at people's personal Facebook accounts and you're like, are you still a coach? Are you still a consultant? Because you look pretty distraught right now. So everybody's kind of looking, to you as a business owner, as a person who's supposed to have it together. Most of us are parents, we have kids. As a business owner, if you have clients, they want to see you as a person who has it together and as a person who's going to actually help them as an advisor, help them go through this, provide some important information, some pertinent information, forget about what you're selling for a minute and just be a regular person and help. Just like if you were stuck in an elevator right now, if you're stuck in a fire, it's time to, do whatever it is that you can to kind of help the people around you. So my chain of mind when this thing happened was, I do a lot of my own social media marketing, and I've been able to, get these meetups up and running and get people to attend meetups and things like that. But I think that in a position and a situation like we're in right now, it forces us to think about online marketing. It just forces every single business owner to think about online marketing. Now, there's a lot of different business owners. There's some that can't even, I have clients that can't even operate a Facebook account on their phone, and then you have very sophisticated people that have very sophisticated businesses, but they're still not very, they would hire somebody and they still don't really understand the whole online marketing world because they're not practitioners. They're not doing it themselves. And so if they started, they would stop right away. They're like, listen, I'll go back to what I know. I'm not doing this crap. So what I did is I started to, not only bring back everything that I know, but also just kind of hone in on this old online marketing necessity now. And, I've been sharing this for a couple of weeks now. Today, I wanted to focus and land on ads, Facebook ads, Google ads. I want to focus and land on that because at the end of the day, ads, are a good way for business to get out there and be in front of, their target market. It's just that the real problem is most people have tried ads and it hasn't worked. It's just like anything else that you're trying to do. If you're trying to do, fix your own bathroom or fix your own kitchen yourself for the first time, it's going to take a lot of time. It's not going to look good. But, so I decided to just, be on the forefront and dedicate the entire month to digital marketing. Me, myself, I was doing a lot of in-person networking for the past 5 years. And I'm shifting. I'm doing this on Zoom. I'm doing different things. So I'm shifting to online. And I think it's something that everybody needs to start thinking about and starts to shift. But again, the main problem is that some people have no idea, not only they're technologically challenged, but also in terms of time and money, there's like everything is crunching. But I think it's a challenge. It's important to have that discussion. So I created this presentation. I'm adding on to it every single week. This week I added the portion about ads. I'm just waiting for it to finish uploading here. This week, actually in the past couple of days, I've added the section around ads. So I know there's some people that, for example, Harold, you're still there? Oh, Harold? Disconnect.
Sorry about that. I was trying to figure out how to unmute. I had it muted and moved the screen. Sorry about that. I missed that. Can you repeat that, Handy?
No, I was just saying, are you here?
Yeah, no.
Making sure you're here. So there's some people that, for example, they missed the Monday session. So a little bit of what I'm sharing today is a recap from what I shared on Monday and what I shared last week. But I think it's important to get everybody back on the same page. For those who don't know me, my main business is financial services. So what I did is I left the pure insurance and investment world in order to add the accounting, tax preparation. So now I'm combining all these things: accounting, tax preparation, insurance, investments. And I always wanted to do this, and now I'm really tackling it. I know that every time I sit down with a business owner, their main priority is generating new business. So I'm not shying away from doing business plans, and advising on different things. But the core of my skills is really on the financial side. What I wanted to share today is first of all, the elements of a successful digital marketing strategy. A lot of people are just leaving a lot of stuff behind because it's overwhelming. Like Marianne, you were saying, it's just too much. It's too much for one person to tackle. But not every business is in a position to hire out. And not every business is in a position to do everything by themselves. So just in order to have a successful digital marketing strategy right now, you have to have all these components together. Of course, with experience, some people do very well with just one component working out. But this is the real picture. This is what, competitors are doing. This is what big companies are doing. So if, in my idea, if you want to be ultra successful, you need to have an understanding of what it takes to be successful in each of these arenas. And then week after week, month after month, you just get better and better at it. So an engaging website, that's like no-brainer SEO. It's so funny. I was sharing this story. I have this one client, hopefully we're going to be able to finalize this week. He has A for SEO and an F for everything else.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's crazy. When you look at his website.
How did he do that?
Well, basically what they do, what he did is he took all the right words in terms of all the products and services that he offers, and then all the right towns. So, when people do SEO, what they do is they want to be relevant to Google, and they want to be relevant to Google in what they're offering, and they want to be relevant to Google in terms of their location. So the entire first page is like XYZ services for Stratford, Connecticut, XYZ services for Bridgeport, Connecticut, XYZ services for Fairfield, Connecticut. Literally, it's just a drop list of every single word that Google needs to hear. And the website design is totally like botched up for that. So not an engaging website, but very good SEO. So if you look at the scorecard, it's an F everywhere and A for SEO. So these are the different parts, the search engine optimization, content marketing. I think it's one of the toughest things right now. I don't know who's creating content. Like Marianne, are you creating a lot of content nowadays?
Yeah, I do. Content was always a difficult thing, but over the years, there was like a light bulb that just went off. And once I saw that and figured it out, and I'd be happy to share it at any time in the group, but once I figured that out, it was like, now there's so much content. It's like, what do you use? What do you write about? And just kind of structuring it. But it took a long time for that to happen.
All right. What about you, Manny? Are you doing a lot of social media? Are you writing content? Are you doing anything in that arena right now?
No, not really. I mean, I do. I put more, like on my Facebook page for my for the IT stuff, or my Instagram. I just put up things I've done. My Truth IT page, I just put up helpful hints and stuff like that. That so that people can read. So I figure, stuff that more like common world stuff that people would actually read, which draws a lot of attention to my page. I don't think about it as I would as a tech. I try to put stuff like, what's going on with iPhone, the updates, if your phones are crashing, or MacBooks, they're having issues or something like that. I'll post that stuff on my Truth IT page. When I told you what I did with my website, I ripped it basically down because of everything that happened. And then I just find social media is a little bit better.
Okay. What about you, Lindsay, Harold? You guys writing content, challenge with content? Are you guys playing on social media?
Yes. We had a little bit of different effect in the last couple of weeks in terms of like holding off on job promotion pieces, but yeah, we've been posting, we've been running some ads and stuff in terms of LinkedIn. Actually, in Switzerland, we have a recruitment need that came up, and it's actually been working pretty well right now. So, yeah, so I've been playing around with it. I mean, it's we launched a bunch of COVID-related posts in the last couple of weeks, and my company actually pivoted its business in terms of, reworking, because we've always had remote workers, but just repositioned that in a new nice little package. So I've been promoting a lot of that out on social media, which has been getting some pretty good engagements. So, but yeah, it's a little bit different lens because it's, but we've had to recreate content, I would say, like work from home tips, virtual interviewing tips, kind of a shift in terms of what we've been doing.
Very good. And what about you, Harold? Are you writing content, playing on social media?
So definitely playing on social media. I actually have the benefit of luckily getting opportunities for some free PR. And as a matter of fact, I had just shared some stuff on LinkedIn and also on Facebook and Twitter with respect to that PR. But in terms of writing content or anything along those lines, no. But definitely dabbling in the social media arena.
All right. Well, so I see content as in a good way that you're kind of selling before before actually people need you. So it's a way to kind of open up the door and say who I am. Marianne, I know you've been on this podcast, on this short thing with Gary Vee. And the one piece of advice that I got from Gary Vee that I'm applying right now in terms of content, I don't know if you heard him say it, but I took this to heart, and that's what I apply. He said, don't create, just document. He said, don't try to create stuff. Because when you're trying to create, then you're judging yourself. You're trying to do all sorts of things. It creates this awkwardness that you don't really know if people care about it. So if you want to be as humble as possible and just open up the door, let people see who you are, and at the same time kind of attract the types of clients that would really want to work with you, just document what happens on a daily basis. Just talk, just open up and talk about, the challenges that your clients are having, helping them solve different things. Just open up the door. It's a lot more entertaining. It's entertaining, it's personal. And what I would say is that there's no lies around it. You're not trying to convince anybody of anything. You're not trying to overdo it or be overly entertaining. But there's one thing that happens in terms of engagement, and it's a law of connection, is that when you start a story, people want to hear the end. So, for example, if you are just out there giving different tips and doing different things, like even if you're having like a public speaking presentation and you're just overloading people with information, eventually they tip off. Like you got to be able to break it down with some emotions, with different things to kind of keep all this information, help them digest it and make it a positive experience. But there's one thing about content, and there's one thing about engaging people. A tip around it is that when you start a story, people want to hear the end of it. So if you have a 60-second story, if you have a 2-minute story or 3-minute story, you're more likely going to keep people engaged, because once they start it, at least they want to hear the end of it. When you're just spewing out information, then it's tough for people to digest information. So, just be yourself. I'm not asking you to go on TikTok and start dancing, but just content marketing, that's my number one tip in terms of content marketing. Don't overthink it. Just turn on the camera, share something that happened today. Just, let it go. And then eventually, if you want to invest some money, get some professional videos and things like that, you can do that. But a lot of people are stressed. They are, non-confident because they're trying to create, they're trying to impress, they're trying to do a lot of stuff. They're trying to create this connection, and it shows. When you see them on camera, it shows. And when you're not only not comfortable with yourself, not confident, you lose the connection. People actually don't want to watch that. So I'm just saying this in terms of content. Written is a little bit different, but you could do the same thing. Just, type up something, type up a story, keep people engaged, see what the reaction is. Email marketing for me has been absolutely 100% the best way for me to get people in the room. over the course of the years. I find that social media is a hit or miss because these platforms control who sees your stuff. So
Yeah.
that's number one tip, for April is that, social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, they control who sees your stuff, or you have to pay to be in front of people. But when you have somebody's email address, you could just send them an email, just like you were talking to your friend, and now they're paying attention, so there's a good connection there and you never lose it. Social media marketing, like I said, it's very important, but we don't really control who sees it. And of course, a lot of people want the engagement. What I do on social media, and I followed this tip from Ryan Lee, most of the social media that I do is I try to diversify it. But what I really look for in social media is to be able to drive these people to my email list, drive these people to, to give me their information so I can have a real interaction with them. And my overall strategy is that the people that they have the types of problems that I'm looking to solve. So, I take this, for example, I always wanted to do a lot with small business owners, and I pick topics that I know are going to interest small business owners. So I know I create some tension. We're going to talk about that in the advertising space, but you create some tension. Like sometimes people are so busy, they're there for entertainment, but if they see something that speaks to them and they feel like they're going to miss out, then, they'll register, they will engage, they will read, but you have to create that tension. You can't just be bland or boring. You have to create that tension and propose something that's going to help solve their problem. And once they see that, hey, there's the possibility for me to get a problem solved and things like that, and it's not requesting like, $1,000 investment today, then at least they'll take that first step of at least entering their email, their phone number. So you got to create that tension. So on social media, there's a lot of stuff going on. Most people that have a lot of followers are just entertainers. Those are the people that have a large following on social media. They're entertainers. But as a business owner, you want to be able to use it to drive attention to you, let people kind of warm up to you, but also you want to be strategic and you want to drive people to your email list. The pay-per-click environment is great. As a business owner, having been in business for all these years, like I realize that in the pay-per-click environment, in the lead generation environment, I'm a much better controlled business owner. I've shared this past Monday and the ones before, and even last Monday, I gave out a challenge to a couple of people who were there. As a business owner, you have to know how much each client is worth. And you also have to know exactly how much it costs you to acquire one client. So it's pretty easy to figure out how much one client is worth. But when you're doing all this, networking, in-person meetings, sitting down for coffee, and, you're very social and things kind of happen organically, it's very tough to put a dollar amount on it as to how much it actually costs you in time and money to acquire a client. So when you're playing in the, Facebook ads and the pay-per-click environment, it's much easier. Like, hey, I'll give myself a budget of $250 a week. I'll get 10 to 15 leads. I'll close X. So I know how much it costs me to acquire a client. If I grow my budget to 500, then I'll have double the amount of leads. If I grow it to 750, I'll have triple the amount of leads. So when you're in business, you kind of need those metrics to be able to really operate and scale and be able to troubleshoot what's going on. So a lot of stuff that's going on social media is like needed. Search engine marketing, optimization, you're spending a lot of time. You don't really know what the payoff is, but it helps you with pay-per-click. Pay-per-click is also a good guarded way because you know how much it costs you to acquire one client. So that's where I would want most business owners to get to, especially if you're doing business online, is to get to an actual cost per lead. How much does it cost you to acquire one client? So if you just have dollars, then it's a simple solution. So I have a business I used to do, like financial services, insurance. I mean, the leads were just terrible because people were just shopping around. It wasn't my type of environment or types of people that I needed. And I had another business, which Manny knows, I had the home improvement business that all I did was buy leads. So I had this as a side business. I would just buy leads. I would just, put, at the peak of it, I would put like $250 a week. So $250 a week, I get some leads. I'm in front of people who actually need what I have to offer. And all I have to do is call, schedule an estimate, do what I got to do, close it, and then I can, sub it out. But it was a much easier business model. I didn't need no social media posts, nothing. I just needed a very simple website where people at least see that it's a real business with licensed and insured and things like that. So when you're playing in that environment of the cost per click, or you're playing in that environment of ads that actually work, it's a much simpler and much happier process to generate business. So that's the whole thing in terms of what I've been sharing so far. I want to see if there's anything else, and then I'll go right on to the ads. If there's anything else that's super important. Yeah, I mean, this here is the main thing. Most people struggle in business because of this. I'm going back. Most people struggle in business because of this. The reality of is that they're not attracting enough people to actually have a business. They're just not attracting enough people. It's just not happening. So once I meet a business owner, we always ask this challenging question, like, how do you generate business? Like, how do you generate business? A lot of them don't really have the solution, don't have it all together. A lot of people will just say, oh, it's a lot of networking. Like, they don't really have the formula. So I find that the challenges for small business owners is that, number one, they don't really have an audience. They don't really have a large pool of people that they can play with, call, and interact and do all these things. And so it causes problems on the sales and marketing side because they're not getting any traction. So what what they have to implement is some type of way to drive traffic towards them, and you have to write content. Write books, in order to attract people. I've done it with networking events. That's what I've been doing a lot in the past couple of years. Actually, in the past 5 years, that's practically been on the financial services side, my only way to meet people. And my formula was like, hey, it's pretty simple. At the end of the day, 10% of the people who show up end up as my clients. 10% of people who show up end up as my clients. So I wouldn't really stress myself out. I would just focus on packing a room. And, I know that somebody in there needs my products and services, and that was my approach. But now we have to tighten things up. We can't meet face to face. We have to do all sorts of things. And so we go back to the, ad environment. So what I wanted to share today is, well, first of all, there's going to be a giveaway. So anybody that did not get this link in the past couple of weeks, I'm going to send it to you. This is a way for you to manage your online presence. I'm going to send you a link so that you can get on this landing page here, and it's going to help you see visibly how your business is doing online. I know, Marianne, I'm not sure you're there. I know, Manny, you're there, and I see Harold, you did register for it, right?
I don't recall that, honestly.
Okay, well,
probably need to.
I'm going to resend it to everybody, and I'm going to send it to you also, Lindsay. It's just a way for you to actually analyze your online presence in terms of your website. It does 5 different things. Number one, it figures out if you have accurate listings. So, across the different platforms on Google, you have a Google My Business page, you have your website, you have your Facebook page, you have Twitter, but there's probably another 39 different places where your business can be listed. So this will allow you to analyze whether or not your information is accurate across the board in terms of like business name, email, like business name, website address, phone number, actual physical address, the hours of operation. So when these things are kind of synchronized properly across the platforms, it's easier for you to be found, and you're more credible online. The second thing that it allows you to do is to see what your reviews are. So the more reviews you have, the better you'll do in a pay-per-click environment. Like I know if you go to Google right now and you Google your industry, IT in Stratford, I mean, a bunch of people with ads would show up, and then the people that show on top are typically websites that are very relevant, but also they're websites with a lot of reviews and 5-star reviews. So that's a second component. The regular social activity, I don't know in how much it plays in the pay-per-click environment, but it's there. And online presence, you just don't want to be dealing with a ghost, When I go to a networking event and I come back, I pick up somebody's business card. And when I go home, the first thing I do is I take a look at their LinkedIn. I want to see how long have they been in business? Do they even have a LinkedIn profile? So people are doing the same thing with your business. They're going in and they're searching to see if you're a real person, if you're credible. So they're going on the back end, checking social media, seeing what type of stuff you post. a website and successful ad campaigns, which is what we're touching base on today, will allow you to have a successful online presence. So everybody knows that the challenge is we probably are not A-rated on everything. It takes time, it takes money, but we know that that's the end goal. The end goal is to be able to be very strong on all these things, because the stronger you are, the better results you'll have. The more credibility you'll have, both when when people meet you and when people are scoping you out, the more credibility you'll have. I'm currently working on this thing, but I know that the number one contributor of lost business are people that are just visiting your website, they're visiting your social media profiles, they're visiting these things and they do nothing. They just check it out and they walk away. So trying to find a way to kind of recapture this thing and make sure that people are visiting my website and they're actually taking action on it. So when we talked about magnets, which is the number one, problems that business owners are having, which is, bringing in a large audience, it's already challenging to create magnets, to create things that are going to attract a large audience. It's not easy. I think that the key to that is just having stuff that people care about. So I know that, Manny shared, you kind of do a lot of different things. You're a trusted advisor, so people will trust you with a lot of stuff. When you're playing online, it's just playing the game of what do people care about? Like, I know people want to be entertained and people care about their problems. So, if you're putting content out there, you're creating some resources and things like that, the challenge is always to find the stuff that people care about. So you have to try different things. And the things that people care about, they will show up for it. And the things that they don't care about, they won't show up for it. So that's a challenge for business, but that's really the key to it. When it comes to the advertising, we can't cover everything today, but there's two basic ways to advertise. The one that I want to cover a little bit more today is like Facebook ads. So who here is running or has run Facebook ads before?
I'm not doing it now, but I have a few times.
All right.
Yeah.
What's been your experience so far?
Honestly, it was a bit underwhelming, quite frankly.
Okay.
But I mean, look, not saying that it's Facebook's fault, but I just felt like the uptake, so to speak, and they have some great information, ways to parse the data and the demographics and everything, but I just didn't feel that maybe, especially what it is in terms of my business, I don't know if that necessarily translates well into Facebook as opposed to LinkedIn or Google Ads.
Okay. All right, very good. Lindsay, you've had experience with Facebook ads?
Yeah, I've used them to try to, do job ads and stuff like that, and not to any great success. There's been some clicks and they're like, there's so many clicks and it's great. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not converting people to come, at least to corporate, through that method. I have not done it on a small business lens, but, I would say, I've spent a decent amount of money and not seen, LinkedIn has really been the best. And even then I would say, it's been a lot of money for pay-per-click, or, for what you're paying to get what you need. It's not, it's been underwhelming.
It's been underwhelming. Okay. Manny, have you played around with Facebook ads?
Yeah, I just do, I mostly do friends of friends because that's more residential for me.
Okay.
Really business stuff out of it, I haven't found that it's very useful. But because I do residential, it has paid out for me, and I have a lot of friends. And people just see what I do and they tell other people. I've kind of used it more in that platform because anybody that I pretty much have on my Facebook is pretty much people that I know personally.
Okay.
So that's what it is. Business stuff is totally different, I feel. I mean, if you get a relationship out of that, then great.
All right. And what about you, Marianne? Have you played with ads?
Yeah, I have in the past. It depends. Like some, I was happy with, and others, it was kind of like,
All right. Well, I want to go through a thought process today because my perspective on ads is if the ads don't work, I blame myself. It's unfortunate, but that's what it is. If the ads don't work, I blame myself. Now, if you put yourself in the shoes of somebody who's running ads for the first time, it not only takes a lot of time to get the account set up and all that stuff, and to be running ads and spending money and not seeing some results, like it's the most discouraging thing. That's why people kind of walk away and never want to do it again. But it's still the same principle. Everybody that you do business with, more is like, you know, I'd say 99% they're on Facebook also. It's just that if the ads don't work, it's mostly, you know, the business owner or the ad preparer's fault. So there's a couple of different reasons why, you know, typical ads don't work. Usually we just don't know. We don't know why the ads are not working. You know, number one, they're not getting clicks. Just like you're posting an ad, you're just not getting clicks at all. It's just like, you know, nobody's clicking on it. Like Facebook is not showing your ad, or it's too expensive. Just too expensive. You're looking at it like the expensive part of it. I think it's mostly because people are spending money and not getting any results from it. There's this whole very frustrating part of ads being denied, which I hate. I hate looking at my ad being under review and then it's telling me it's denied because it got too much text. But that's a challenge that people will be having. Immediate bounce, then you start to get into more technical stuff. So I've had the experience, a very frustrating experience of, you know what, people are selling me on the click-throughs, and your click-throughs are getting better, your click-throughs are getting better. I'm like, yeah, the click-throughs are getting better, but what happens? You know, people are clicking on the ad, they're going in some type of environment and they're doing nothing. They're just bouncing off. So it's just like curiosity, they don't do nothing. They don't take action and they don't turn into sales. But all of these components can be controlled. So I'm digging in. I can't share everything all at once, but at least today we can touch upon, you know, a couple of different things. And then as I finish up, you know, the presentation and kind of add on to it, like right now, next time we'll meet up is going to be Friday. So I'll do a session Friday at noon. I'll do a session, you know, Monday. I'll be able to test these things out and show you what has worked, what hasn't worked for me. But it's never going to be that what works for me absolutely 100% always going to work for you, because you're always going to need the one-to-one consultation, step-by-step analysis of the ad, of the copy, you know, if it's a video, the environment that you're leading people with to, you know, the target marketing, the amount of money you're spending. You're always going to need this step-by-step approach. But I just want you to understand that if the ads are not working, it's not because ads don't work. It's because there's something that we're not doing right. So, you know, what do ads do? Advertise. Number one is that they show, your ad gets shown to a large amounts of people. They capture people who are interested, and hopefully you get to capture their information so that you could sell them. Either you're capturing email, you're capturing a phone number, you can call them, or people that have very good ads, they have the entire copy and the whole setup where the convincing is done without you being there. So a very good ad, you know, requires a lot of stuff. It requires not only to be original, it actually catches people's attention. It actually makes them want to click. But a very good ad that you don't have to interact with, it requires image. It also requires copywriting, and it requires a lot of formatting, because the ad is really there to replace you. It's the online version of yourself. So if you're sitting down with coffee with somebody, you're being convincing, you're listening to them and doing all these things. Imagine trying to have the same thing, this convincing voice and this convincing experience when you're not there. That's why it's not easy to run an ad that works. But there are ads that work. There are businesses that run ads and make a lot of money off of it, but you just have to know where to tweak it. It's the same thing with Google ads. You know, Google ads, I've had success with Google ads. When I started Google ads, I actually find it a lot easier than Facebook ads, because Google ads, the psychology of people when they go on Google is that they just need you. They need you right away. It's not something that you know, they were chilling on Facebook and you caught their attention, you're trying to get them to do something. But Google ads is if somebody goes on Google, they need something right away. And they're basically comparing, they're looking at the top 3 and they're like, you know, website, phone number, and they're making the decisions right there and calling. So I find in some type of way Google ad to be a lot easier. But for your particular business, you have to compare what's the cost of running Google ads and getting results versus Facebook ads. So at the end of the day, you're going to discover what works for you, what doesn't. Google ads has worked for me on the tax side. I've gotten phone calls of people who say, I need a tax return done. There's even been some funny stories of people that were calling me. I think they thought they were calling H&R Block or Jackson Hewitt, and they actually called me, but I ended up getting them as a client. So here are the things that we really want to become masters at. You know, how much does it cost me to get somebody to click? How much does it cost me to get a lead? And how much does it actually cost me to get a sale? So obviously, if you get no sale, you can never calculate that cost. And the problem that we're having is we know how much the click costs, but the ad is never formatted properly to actually generate a lead, generate an email, or generate a phone number. So again, the main culprits for that is an ad that's somewhat boring. You know, it's just people see it, okay, great, you know, but they never pay attention to it. Or it's like they're curious, but there's not enough tension being generated. Like, okay, you know, it's great. I mean, I see this, but there's not a lot of tension. It's not convincing enough. They don't feel like they're going to get anything, you know, out of it. So all of these things it's our fault. So, you know, you can be the genius. You could consult with other people to see if they actually care about what's going on, or you can hire a copywriter. But at the end of the day, you just want to take a step back and say, you know, if my ad doesn't work, it's either because it's boring, it doesn't create enough tension, or I'm not targeting the right amount of people. I'm not putting a lot of money, you know, behind it. But it's not that the whole ad environment doesn't work per se. There's some things that need to be tweaked. So the audience, you need to pay attention who you're targeting. There's a lot of different things that you can do in the ad environment, which there's a lot of different things and a lot of different people that you can target. The one that I've tried was like the how you call it, the lookalike campaign. So lookalike campaign, I've purchased loads of stuff, and it was all due to lookalike campaign. So what does a lookalike campaign look like? It's basically if I am scoping somebody out on their website, or if I registered for their email to get a free paper at some point in time, or get a free resource, then that person has my email. And so once they have my email and my contact information, they can then put some ads on Facebook and have Facebook target me. And that's how I've been convinced. So I'm thinking about some of the stuff, the training programs and the different things that I've bought, especially in the past year. It's been a combination of a couple of different things. So yeah, number one, the person is professional, but number two, the person is persistent and they have enough content, especially emails. Like I see a lot of emails coming into my email box. I registered for this white paper, and I see one email coming today. I got what was promised to me. And I see a lot of different emails coming through. I ignore them. I'll tell you that for sure, I ignore them. But every time I see this email and I ignore it, that person stays top of mind. So when you're creating a magnet and you have an email campaign, you're still top of mind with that person. Usually the tipping point is the Facebook ad. So now I go on Facebook, I'm doing my thing, and I see this ad scrolling, I see this guy, and I avoid the ad for a bit, I avoid the ad, but eventually I click the ad. You know, when I go in and I read, I see environment, stuff like that. And I'm basically convinced, not because the ad was magic, but it was a combination of everything else that's been done. So that's why they say when you want to have a successful digital marketing strategy, it's just not just one part. It's not just that you're going to put an ad and everybody's going to click on it, when you want to have the entire thing together. So, you know, like I said, this is like how we're going to close it out. You know, why usually we're not getting clicks on the ads is that the audience doesn't care. That's the toughest thing for a business owner, but it's like, hey, you're putting it out there. Great. It's 50% off of XYZ and they don't care, you know, or it's, you know, what can I say? People don't care. There's nothing you can do. So it's your responsibility to put an ad out there and put something out there that people care about, where you're really touching a nerve. You're really touching a problem that people want solved, and you know, as urgent and as important as it is, then the better your ads will do. Number two is the messaging sucks. I'm saying it like this. I write my own emails, I write my own stuff, and you know, I make mistakes. You know, if I don't reread and do different things, I make mistakes. But there are some things such as professional copywriters. So I'm going to give this tip out today. If you want to create an ad, if you want to create social media stuff, and you don't want to make a mistake on that side, you don't really know what the boundaries, the good stuff and the bad stuff is, I would recommend you go on Upwork. So I'm just going to go there. So this is you like kind of taking control of stuff. On Upwork, so right now I'm on here. And so what I did is I did it myself. On Upwork, you have a bunch of freelancers that you can engage. So what I've been doing is I've been hiring some freelancers on the web design side, on the lead generation side, and on the copywriting side. And I'm going to tell you right now, you might be shocked, but on the web design side, I have some web designers for as cheap as like $7 an hour, like websites getting done for $300 or $400. So if you want to take control of your online presence and you want to, and I'm not lying, I'm going to go in and just show it to you. And you want to take control of your online presence, you're going to have companies that are going out there and charging you $1,000 a month or $600 a month, $1,500 a month, or $100 a month in order to generate leads for you. They go out there and they do it themselves. Or if you want to kind of take control, you can go on Upwork and find some qualified people, not so much expensive. They just want the work. Right now, my bandwidth is very low. But I'm showing you this, like, this is like web designers that are fully capable of doing what they're doing. You know, coding, WordPress websites. If you look at the hourly rates, $35 an hour, $18 an hour, $20 an hour, $10 an hour. I'm having this guy right now design a website for somebody that I know. There was another lady here, she's not showing, but like $7 an hour. So in terms of like web design, you know, it's very cheap. Of course, if you're outsourcing, you're going outside the country, it's going to be a lot cheaper than if you're hiring somebody in the US. So freelancers, you know, if you want to take control of your stuff, you want to write some blogs, you want to have somebody rewrite it, or you want to just design an ad, you don't want to hire an ad agency who's going to ask you for a $3,000 retainer, then maybe you put a couple $100, you know, to the side and you give a copywriter a chance at it, you know, kind of, so you can find your freelancers there to kind of put stuff together. You can go on Fiverr.com and have somebody design, you know, on Fiverr.com, I've had logos designed on Fiverr.com for like $17, and they give you the entire thing. So if I go to like Fiverr.com, so again, it's going to take time to load up, but in terms of like the visuals, if you want to create some visuals where you're really not like the graphic designer type, you can go to Fiverr.com. I've had logos designed for, you know, $17, and they'll design the logo, they'll design the email signature, they'll design a banner for Facebook, a banner for Twitter, a banner for YouTube. You'll get the entire social media kit. So if you're trying to create an ad, you can go on Fiverr.com and engage people on a project and get it done for very cheap. And you'll know that the visual at least will be professionally done. So Fiverr.com, you know, Upwork, these are all places where you can go and get that help for very little money. So it's not just looking like you tried to put this thing together by yourself and it's looking totally unprofessional. So, you know, looking to wrap it up here. So, you know, you're responsible for the idea. Not a lot of people are going to be able to consult and tell you, hey, here's what I think people care. As a business owner in your business, you're supposed to know what your clients and your target audience really cares about. Test it out, do some blogs, do different things, ask some people, just ask a friend. Sometimes it's good to just ask a friend and say, you know, do you think people care about that? And they'll tell you the truth. You know, when it's not just you, people will tell you, I don't think people care about that. And they'll tell you just like regular person type of thought, like, I don't think people care about that, or I don't think that people really, you know, can connect with what you're saying, or because it's the reality of the world that we're in. You need real world common sense and real world experience and real world feedback. So that way you know why your stuff is not working. So the audience doesn't care. The messaging sucks. You know, or it's a small world, like, you know, everybody knows everybody, and a lot of people are doing the same thing. It's just, it's always our fault. It's not Facebook's fault. Facebook has designed a great thing. So then, you know, we get into the actual ads, the cost of the ads. And The reality is that Facebook is doing, this arbitrage type of thing where two people could be trying to place the same ads, and Facebook will most likely will want to give and reduce the cost if your ad is engaging. So basically, if I put it together an ad and it sucks, and somebody else goes out there and puts together an ad and it's a much better, Facebook would rather give the other guy a lower cost per click because a lot more people are going to click on this ad. They're going to end up making more money. So the reason why some of the ads are just too expensive is, number one, it just doesn't get the traction per se. And so Facebook is just charging you a lot of money because they have to make money. They're not just going to do it for free for you. So it becomes increasingly expensive if your ad is not engaging and it's not relevant. Then it just becomes more expensive to reach people with that particular ad. You're forcing yourself in front of people. Somebody that has a very good video instead of like a little image, somebody has a very engaging video and things like that, you'll see the cost per click, the cost of their ad actually get reduced because it's relevant and people are clicking on it. So just understand that dynamic is that the better your ad is, the better the copy, the more engaging it is, then the lower it will be to actually reach your audience, because Facebook will want to show your ad to a lot of people and let you scale, let you make a lot more money. And of course, if you have the right ad for the right audience, then Facebook is a champion. Everybody is on Facebook because Facebook shows them what they want to see. So, if Facebook knows they're like looking at, pineapples, then Facebook is going to show me a bunch of pineapples. So if your ad has a bunch of pineapples, I'm enjoying Facebook. So, and then the denied ads is basically if you're not following the guidelines, or if you're calling people out, or if you're just being rude. So those are the main, reasons why people are being challenged with their ads. And I'm going to stop there. People are not going back in there because they're not getting clicks. It's too expensive, or they're getting denied. They already don't understand, the whole ad environment, or they're just not getting results. And there's a reason for that. So final recommendation is, you got to make sure when you're putting out ads out there, you got to be honest with yourself and make sure that it's fun, it's engaging, it's creative, and it solves a problem that people really care about. If not, we don't want to assume that Facebook owes us, some results. So that's what, I wanted to share specifically about the Facebook ads today. I don't know if anybody else has experience with ads. Has anybody else ever purchased anything on ads recently in the past 6 months? Like from Facebook ads? What have you purchased, Manny?
Like I said, I just do Target stuff with Facebook and Instagram. But I target certain areas and certain demographic. Just point.
But have you bought anything as a result of a Facebook ad in the past year, for example?
What do you mean by bought?
Have you clicked on an ad, entered your email, or bought something? Huh?
No. More Google stuff.
What about Google? You go to Google for your stuff. What about you, Marianne?
Yeah.
No. You're a tough
I just
cookie.
get close with like those free grocery or like the fresh grocery delivery, whatever. And then I change my mind at the last minute. I'm like, I don't know if I need this. I'm like, it's so well done. I'm so close, but I'm like, I can't commit to one more thing,
Well, you can imagine that's what people are doing when you're paying for your ads. People have the same thing. So the better your ad and the more you got it together, then the better results you'll get. What about you, Harold?
So I think the last time that I actually, I haven't actually bought anything from Google, but in terms of actual purchase, Google ads, last time I did was, I think, earlier this year, and especially end of last year.
Okay.
I had found that some of the results I had gotten from Google ads was very beneficial.
All right. So basically you did some advertising on Google ads and it worked out?
Yeah, I landed one of my biggest clients from a Google ad where the guy, the CEO of this company, reached out to me over a weekend. And I wasn't expecting that. So Yep, it's let me tell you, even if I don't ever run another Google ad for the rest of my life, this could probably be beneficial for the next generations of Blackwells to come who have not even come into existence.
Wow. So why wouldn't you do more?
It's not so much about why I wouldn't do more. My thing is, realistically, that was basically catching lightning in a bottle. Everything was aligned. The stars, the moon, the sun, the universe, and Harold Blackwell just happened to run an advertisement that a CEO of a company who never even knew I existed just happened to be looking for my services at that point in time and said, I want this guy to do it.
Right. I mean, that's the Google environment, right? That's where most people go. That's where most people go. So that's a good experience. And how much did the ads cost you?
It wasn't that expensive, honestly, man. I think it was just under $400 for the month.
Okay. And do you know any of the other ratios, like, how many people actually clicked on it and stuff like that? Did you look at your ratios on Google Ads, the software or the platform?
Yeah, I was always checking out that stuff. Off the top of my head, though, I don't remember. I would have to go into my dashboard just to see what those ratios look like. And this
Okay.
was actually data going back to, for example, this was like a couple years ago, as a matter of fact. And so I've been working with that client since 2018.
Oh, that's good. That's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, you have to, there's the Google My Business page. I have an account there. I have the monitoring on my iPad, on my phone. It's there. The Facebook ads thing is everywhere. I've had some success from Google. So Lindsay, have you purchased anything from like searching on Google or Facebook? Or have you gotten any business from Google Ads? Like, what's the question? Have you ever gotten business from Google Ads?
Sorry, were you talking to me? Or
Yeah.
no? Oh,
Yes.
okay. I missed. I was like, I think he might have said my name, but I was my daughter's shouting in the background. I have not done Google Ads myself. So,
Okay.
no.
All right. Well, we all know what it looks like when we go on Google and we Google something, so we see the ads first, and then you see the different companies. So if I just go in right now here, I can go into my platform, but I think the most relevant thing is this, if I go IT company, what town are you in, Manny?
Shelton.
So I just opened up my ad thing for one quick minute. And first of all, I got to go on Google instead of Bing.
There's a million of them.
Yeah, there's a million of them, but look, this is what's going on right now. So IT, company in Shelton, very low reviews.
But Inline Plastic isn't even a IT. Those aren't even IT companies.
Right. So let me see here. Internet. Well, I mean, everybody says IT, right?
New technology.
Or just tech support.
Do technology.
Yeah, I mean, I when you're on this environment, you want to use the word that everybody, if I'm in a rush, like my computer just crashed.
Yeah. Say computer company.
Tech support in Shelton. So there you go. So, the problem with this here, these people, they don't have really good listings, so their phone numbers are not showing up.
Mm-hmm.
But normally, if your company shows up, if I'm doing this research right now, I'm more likely going to go here with MFP Technologies. They have reviews. Even though it's one review, some people won't even see, but at least they have a review that's 4-star review. There's a website, there's directions. I like to see a call button right there. So that's a listing problem where they don't really have all their listings, lined up. So if you look at your My Google page, you want to make sure that everything is in line. So when you do show up, everything is
go to mine.
ready to go.
I don't think I have a call button though. I may. I haven't really messed around with the Google. I messed around with the Google stuff like maybe a month ago.
Okay.
Number 2, bro.
Ah.
Yeah, I'll take that. Vivo.
Tracy Bird. Truth to IT. Geez, what am I missing?
It's all one word.
That'll help. There you go. So all of these things you can control. You can post, pictures and things like that. You have a website. You have a phone number. You actually have you have a lot of reviews, which is a good thing. So this is not bad. It's just, how do you rank, higher, SEO and all these things, we discussed it. How can you just start to rank higher so that if somebody's researching, IT work in your field, then you
SEO is a lot of work. You know that.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. But what I wanted to do, and I wanted to share this, the resources are there. I mean, we're going to stop at 8:30. The resources are there. The website that I ask everybody to sign up, there's a lot of different things that you can do. You can analyze the competition. You can also analyze the keywords that are driving business to your competition. So, again, I'm just breaching the surface today, but all of these things, they have solutions. We can't just have we're not having like an 8-hour training today, but they all have solutions, especially in the tool that I'm having everybody sign up for. You're going to be able to do some things like that, just like see what keywords are actually driving people to your website. And then you can analyze a couple of competitors and see what are the keywords that are driving people to your competitor's website. And of course, you'll have a total, a complete report card for your, for your business. Marianne, what's your business online? How's your business named? Small Business Advantage, right? You're muted out.
I didn't know if you were talking about the brick and mortar or the Small Biz Vantage.
Yeah, Small Biz Vantage. How do you put it? How do you spell it?
Yeah, Small Biz Vantage. That's it, Trumbull. Yeah.
Right. So in your listings, when you update your listings on the app, it's going to show the different hours of operation for every day. So your website is there, the phone number is there. The more you have, the better it is. You're there. You'll be able to do that same type of research. You'll be able to do that same type of research. I was going to go into my Google thing, but we're just going on and on. So that's what I want to discuss, and that's what I want to tackle, especially in the month of April. So we covered these particular things. I want to go at least one more level deeper every single time we meet. So I'm keeping this entire presentation for when we meet again. So next time is Friday 12 o'clock, and then we're going back to Monday. So I'm just going to build up this presentation and just keep on adding on to it, just keep on adding on to it and making it a more complete presentation. Call to action today is just, number 1, register for this form. Number 2, I had given this as a like a homework and a challenge, is to come up with at least one lead magnet, one particular thing that you can do to attract emails, for your business. It's not necessarily that you have to have it all designed, but by Monday, I asked everybody if you can just have the idea, so we can test to see if people would actually, how relevant is it? Do you think people will care? And then we could put it to the test to see how much traction is generating. But just putting all these pieces together, that's the success formula online. You got to have a magnet, some free resources, things that people care about. So, that's like more effort and time driven. Or on the other side, if you have your online presence well teed up, then you can just play in the Google Ads environment and just rank higher and things like that, and just drive traffic your way. The third option is just to pay somebody. If you pay somebody $500, $1,000, $1,500 a month, they'll probably be able to generate leads, put you in front of your target clients and things like that. I know some people proposed LinkedIn, but I just still find that when people are doing like LinkedIn lead generation, it's still such a work-intensive thing, because they're making LinkedIn connections for you, but you have no indication as to whether or not the person has a problem. So when you're doing marketing, if you're engaging and putting all efforts and things like that, and you still don't know if the person has a problem and if they recognize that they've had a problem, I find it to be, it's not a crucial marketing strategy at that particular point. I want marketing strategies that are putting you in front of people that have problems. That, even if they're shopping around or doing different things, at least you want to be playing in that space. You want to be playing with people that are just, accepted the connection or did different things or just scrolling around. So that's it. That's it for today, guys. I don't know if there's some questions or closing comments.
No, it was great, man. Thanks so much for this conference today.
Hey, you're welcome, man.
I was just going to add, thank you so much. This was really, really helpful to walk through, and it's really nice to have these, all of us together as a resource. So appreciate it. I will definitely be joining again. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Manny, Marianne. I know,
Yeah,
Marianne.
well done.
Thank you very much. We're touching base tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Sounds good, Manny. We're touching base tomorrow. We didn't get the chance to talk today.
Yeah, because I got to pop into another one, but
All
definitely I'm going to be running around a little bit. I actually might be. Are you going to be in Bridgeport tomorrow?
I'm in Stratford mostly of the day. I've kind of like quarantined myself, but we could. I have an office in Bridgeport on Main Street.
Yeah, I know that.
All right, cool. Let me just post the link right now before we all leave, so that way I won't go in and go through. Go and send out an email. So let me just post this link for everybody who hasn't done it yet. You could get it off the chat and it'll be all set in terms of registering for the website. If this this thing can be responsive for me, I'll be happy.
I give you credit. Upwork, all that, Fiverr. I was laughing.
You was laughing?
Yeah. A lot of people don't know about that stuff.
Yeah, no, it is what it is, man. You got to be tactical.
Yeah. That stuff's very valuable.
It is,
That's
man.
super smart, because you're not going to be an expert in everything, right? And if you can find a low-cost way to do some of these things that might take you friggin' hours, like such
Just
a good
finding
call.
a decent person on those things sometimes. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
they're better than me.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, I mean, I'm probably pickier with, like, I need to do my website again, and I was just like 2 or 3 days ago thinking about that. I was like, do I want to leave it to somebody else because I don't really have the time anymore? But
Right?
I don't know. I don't know. I could always go in and edit it later. That's the way I look at it.
At least you can have them do the sketch. Like I was saying, right now I'm doing this and I'm getting proposals. I mean, literally have people on there that'll build websites for like $300, $400. You'll have the website. You pay for the hosting. Like, come on. You can go in and it's on WordPress. You can add some stuff.
Mhm.
But most US-based companies, I mean, they're not playing that game with you. They want $300 for a 1-hour consultation.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody building
Yeah.
nothing.
Oh, I know, and I get that being a tech guy. So I listen.
All
I'm
right,
just
so
like,
go ahead, sir.
I get it. Trust me. But I gotta bounce out. So just send me that. because
Yeah,
I
you
gotta
have
go.
the link. You're in there. I'm just going to share with everybody else.
Okay. I already
All right,
did that.
Yeah, I know. I just Lindsay and Marianne probably don't have it yet, so I'm just going to get that done, and we'll be all set for today.
All right. Everybody have a good night and be safe.
All right, take care.
All right, let me see here. My computer's definitely bugging. All right, I'll let you guys go here. Where's my my chat line button? All right, here's the link, guys.
Is it in the chat or?
I just put it in right
Yes.
now.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, thank you so much. It was great to meet all of you.
Absolutely.
Have a lovely night.
You as
Okay.
well. Thanks.
You
Bye,
too.
guys.
All right. Have a good evening, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Marianne, I saw that we're moving this to, I have put it for 12 midnight, which is probably not going to work.
Yeah, that's not going to work for me.
All right, cool. All right, cool. I have to jump on this other one, so I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye-bye.